Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. I just wanted to do a part 2 to the video I made a few days ago about level 2 versus level 1 holsters for concealed carry. We talked, you'll have to go and watch the video to get all my thoughts on the first video, but we have an instructor coming to the church. We had one 2 days or yesterday, and I went through his class, but I had talked to the instructor before the class, and he said he recommended level 2 holsters for church security, even if you're concealed carrying in the security team. And it didn't really make sense to me, but I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, so I let him do his class. I wasn't disrespectful. I never raised any kind of questions because I wanted to be respectful of how he thinks and what he does, and I didn't want to interrupt or cause a scene in any of that stuff. But I do want to, on YouTube, share my thoughts and talk about some other things, but also learn more about exactly what he recommended for church concealed carry. And kind of the more I learned, the kind of stranger it kind of got to me, and I don't really understand it. I want to get you guys' opinion, guys and girls, whatever, that concealed carry, y'all's opinion on this. Now, he said that these level 1 holsters are fine for everyday carry, but for church security, he recommends, and we mentioned this in the last video, these, which I actually like for level 2 if you're going to carry level 2. But he actually recommends the Serpa Blackhawks for church concealed carry security, which is strange to me too. Is how can you say this is good enough for everyday carry on your person, but when it comes to church security, it has to be this? I mean, that point in of itself is kind of weird, but kind of strange. I don't fully understand that. But I want to talk a little bit about the pros and cons. We talked in the last video how this, which hugs to the body, is way more concealable than this, and this is puts it so close to the body that you can keep your hand over the gun, your elbow over the gun. You can lean your body to one side and keep the gun in the holster. If anybody kind of gets near it, or somebody's behind you that you feel uncomfortable, just set the palm of your hand on top of the gun. If somebody's behind you or you're in a crowd, there's ways that you can protect this without needing a level 2 holster. And it is concealed, guys, and it's concealed better, so it doesn't make sense. Look at the thickness between these two holsters. And this is the one he actually recommends, but you can still see that this sticks out way further from the body than this would, because this is going to be touching your skin, and this is going to be set off the side of your body. So, and we're going to talk about that some more. Now, why do I not, we just went into some of it, but why would I not want to conceal carry this holster or even use this holster very often? I found this holster early on in my conceal carrying days, about 8 years ago. I found this holster on sale for I want to say it was like $12 to $15, and I bought it because it was such a good deal, and I just like trying new holsters, so I thought I'd buy it. Well, I found out really quickly as I did some research and stuff that this Serpa holster had been banned from many ranges, and even, which it blows my mind, because this holster was even banned from one of the biggest police training programs in the country. This holster was banned because what this holster does is it allows the person, even though here's the trigger where the trigger guard will be, this is the button you press, so it's over the trigger guard. But if you get people that's untrained or not very good with using and drawing from a holster, what happens is when they're pushing this button down, when they come up, they can slip off and still be pushing on their finger and come up here and pull the trigger. Even though they have, I think some of the early ones had the buttons lower, this one still, if you're not properly trained, gives way to restricting that finger, putting pressure on that finger, causing you to draw the gun and pull the trigger as you come up out of the holster. And so that's why this particular holster has been banned, and in many different ranges, and is not recommended by most instructors. So it blew my mind when this cop of 30 years suggests this as his very favorite holster for church concealed carry for a security team. So I don't want to go into it too much. Like I said, and I have said, not one holster fits all. I mean, it's just like one person might like this set of tennis shoes and another person may like this set of tennis shoes. We're not all going to like the same things. We're not all going to be built the same way. So I don't like to be locked in on one thing or say that this isn't good for anybody. Maybe somebody can, if you want to use this and you want to train to always keep your finger straight and press that button with your finger straight, more with more like the inside of your finger and not with the tip of the finger pushing on it like that, but more like with your finger and keeping your finger straight. You can do that, and you can do this, use this holster safely. But do I think it's the wisest thing to do? Probably not. So I'm not saying this is a bad holster, but I think if you're going to recommend a holster like this, then you definitely need to let people know the pros and the cons to what comes with this holster. And he did not do that, which scared me, because he's talking to a lot of people that don't draw from the holster very often. He's talking to people that don't dry fire train a lot. He's talking to people that don't competition shoot. He's talking to people that are fairly new, not to guns. Most of these people have had guns their whole life, but they just haven't trained with their guns very often. And that's something you need to mention with holsters like this. And when you're talking about recommending gear, you need to be able to mention the pros and the cons. Yes, the con to this is it does not lock the gun in, and the gun can be pulled out by someone else. But this is a conceal carry. If you're conceal carrying the gun, there should be no way that somebody can see your gun and pull it out. You should have plans in place. You should have systems for going to the restroom with a holster like this, for when crowds are around and you're carrying a gun in this holster, when people are behind you and you're carrying this, when your kids are underneath you. You should have that consciousness of what you're doing and a plan for each of those things, and be thinking actively. Anytime you're carrying a gun, you have to be thinking about that gun all the time. Whether it's muscle memory, self-conscious, you have to have a plan. You have to have training that kind of makes you always think about this gun being in your holster. So nothing wrong with one of these guys. Just make sure you have a system for it. If you want to create a system for something like this, I'm not going to say I absolutely, under any circumstances, would not let anybody carry this, but it's not the best, and it's not for me, and I think the guy was wrong for recommending this holster. Do I think he was wrong about everything? No. Do I think he was very smart and kind and had a lot of good thoughts? Yes, he did. But when it comes to this holster, he was wrong, I have to say, I feel like. About being the best recommendation. That's what I'm saying, the best recommendation. Not about being a recommendation at all, but it's definitely not the best. This holster is a good level 2 holster, but it's a very much an open carry duty holster. Would not suggest it for church security if you're concealed carrying in your security team. Guys, I think if this is good enough, and even he said it was good enough for concealed carry day to day, if this is good enough for concealed carry day to day, it's good enough for church security concealed carry. And you should use the same system all the time. You shouldn't be changing up your system constantly. Now, if you find something better for you, that's fine. But you shouldn't be going from this holster to this holster to this holster, all the time. Now, if you change guns, you're going to have to change holsters a little bit. But when it comes to what I carry on a daily basis, I try to keep it very consistent. And I do try new things occasionally just to see. But I always go back to this, guys. Something simple, something that keeps the gun close to your body. And I feel like I can protect the gun better with this than anything else. And I can hide it better with this than anything else. And I can draw it faster than anything else. And that's what I think is the most important. I think this is just as safe as this. And this is just as safe as that when it's concealed carried. And yeah, I want to make another video pretty soon about the training that we had yesterday. By the time we make these videos, it may be a few days after you see them or whatever, or maybe even years later when you see the video. But I'm going to try to make a video about the training I had yesterday, and some of the thoughts that we learned and some of the things that we disagreed with. My church has asked me to maybe consider taking an instructor course. So I've got a lot of thoughts I'm going to share in that course if I become an instructor. I'm going to talk about some of these issues in a very open and polite and kind way and respectful way for other people's thoughts. And like I said, not one hat fits all, not one shoe fits all, not one holster fits all, not one gun fits all, right, guys? So I find that very interesting. People get so dogmatic about what holster to carry, and it was even interesting that the instructor kept talking about Glock. Of course, he was an ex-cop, so of course he's going to like Glocks. But, and this is not a Glock, I'm just showing you this gun kind of while I'm talking. But yeah, he recommended Glock, and this is just a gun to kind of go along with these holsters to show you the way it works. But he kept recommending Glock, and I'm like, you got to understand that not everybody, a Glock's not going to be for everybody. And I've shot thousands of rounds through all kinds of guns, and Glock has been just as unreliable as any of the other guns. And yeah, sometimes one Glock may be better than another gun, and then that other gun may be better than one Glock, than that one Glock you shoot. It just depends on the gun. It depends on the quality control. It depends on the platform. It depends on so many things. How much you've messed with it. Have you done something wrong with it? Have you not maintained it? Have you not cleaned it? But we'll talk more about the course that we took yesterday later in a later video, and maybe mention some things. And I might start working on PowerPoint myself for kind of a basic pistol security, church security program. Maybe even I want to make it very generic for maybe conceal carry, personal protection, and church security. I want to make it very open platform where we're talking about the basics about it all, and I want to really learn how to and adjust it to really teaching people. This instructor yesterday, very nice guy. Like I said, I don't agree with everything he said, but he was a very nice guy, and he was very knowledgeable in very many aspects of what he taught. But I want to have a different approach, and I want them to walk away really learning a lot. I want to teach a lot about the basics in a very quick manner. This guy tended to talk a lot about stories about his police career, and this happened, and scenario, and this happened. But I don't want to be so scenario based. I think we can teach so much more that people can take away from a class. Those stories they'll forget. But when you can teach them basic skills that they'll keep with them forever, that's more important to them learning how to be a better defender themselves. So that's what I want to kind of work on. Y'all pray that I'll make the right decisions. Pray for me to kind of, for everything to, that door to be open for me to do it if it's what's right. And we want to do what we need to do, right, for our family and for our church and for the Lord. So yeah, y'all be thinking about that with me, and please leave comments, questions below. But yeah, I just want to share some quick thoughts, and I know I went on some other tangents, but that's okay. God bless. Have a great day. Please like and subscribe. Please share thoughts on maybe some other videos that can go along with this, and we might work on some of those. And like I said, we want to talk more about this training we had yesterday. By the way, just so you know, the course went very well. We learned a good bit. He taught for 3 hours, and then we did a shooting 30-round course, and all that went very well. I try to keep a level head. I don't try to, brag or boast on what I achieved or what somebody else achieved. It just went really well, and we really enjoyed a lot of aspects of the training. So just kind of letting y'all know how it went. And if y'all have any questions, please leave them below. God bless. Have a great day.